Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Tuesday.
I was out of town for the weekend, kind of like a long weekend, back at it now on the Tuesday, and I had a great time. We'll talk about it just a little bit later on in the show, but I am a little bit sad about something, though, and I just want to get it off my chest. I missed out on Rib Fest, the drive-through Rib Fest over the weekend. I do imagine that it was probably something like this, thanks to this sketch not being able to leave my brain and being all over the internet, but yeah, all of the people driving through that drive-through, just trying to get their families fed.
Take your order.
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 Coke, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pasta, 55 peppers, and 155 taters.
Okay, that'll be $680.
Okay. Good thing. The full Ribfest experience still coming early September. It happened to me. Happened to me for the first time ever in my life. Credit card fraud. Got had. But, I got the heads up text like almost immediately. Caught right away. Thankfully. Oh my goodness. Thankfully. Some $350 at Hillside Bridal. Now, I'm not to say that like the website is responsible. It's just it was used there. You know what I mean? Bold choice as well. Going with a bridal store. Something, people definitely need to spend their money at often. Some people do. No judgment. Still, cue the destroy your card, a new one will be sent speech and all that stuff. They took care of it. They said, it'll only take a few business days, naturally. I just want to know. I just would really like to find out why and how every single subscription that I have tied to that credit card just has to try to cash in since the card got shut down. Like, how is that possible? I was thinking, okay, it's only going to be a few days. It'll squeak by. Maybe I'll see one of those emails. Hey, we had a problem with your payment. No, it's endless every day. I'm like, what? Do you guys conspire to come out of the bank accounts, the credit cards at the same time? I don't know. Hopefully it gets figured out. Big night for Elton John over the weekend. Of course, he was headlining, closing out the Glastonbury Festival, one of the biggest crowds ever seen, and just a huge headlining show with tons of songs, lots of collaborations, people joining him on stage, and it also marked his last UK gig ever on this extended farewell tour that he has been on. Not saying goodbye to music in general, but he does say that at some point soon it's going to have to be the end of the line for being on tour and living that side of the life. While there on stage, sang a great number of songs and even had a tribute for his dear friend, the late George Michael, on what would have been the 60th birthday for the artist. Very powerful night. Also in the news, 100 artists are joining a boycott, a pledge rather, to boycott venues that choose to use face scanning technology for the crowds. And Tom Morello, Zach De La Rocha, for instance, a few other big names have lent their names to it. Venues as well on board, saying this technology, as pitched by security companies as innovation, is actually invasion of privacy and not all that accurate to boot.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruise FM.
Wow, this is rich. Maury Povich, Maury. He is actually just announced as the former host of the Maury Show that he's going to be launching an at-home paternity test kit available for you to buy and for you to use. I don't know if it's available yet, what the fine details are, but this is the kind of thing that could very well work as an April Fool's prank. But also one that makes you wonder what took him so long, right? I think he's going to cash in a very awkward way. Stay sexy out there and stay safe. Very excited about a very big weekend. Canada Day is right around the corner. Can't believe how quickly it's coming up, but McDonald Island Park has a ton of events, and here to talk about them in studio with me here is Angela from McDonald Island Park. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
Good. It's beautiful weather, it's changeable like Alberta weather is, but this weekend's looking even better, looking very sunny, looking not too hot, and there's tons going on the island. So, let's just dive into it. What's happening?
Well, the festivities start June 30th. Doors open at 6 p.m. for an evening of music. There's 3 live performances, including a local act, and capping the night off is Gord Bamford, a country superstar. And then the evening will close off with the Syncrude fireworks at 11 p.m. So the best place to watch those is from inside SMS Equipment Stadium.
Yeah.
So come down for a free show and cap it all off with fireworks. And then everything continues the next day, July 1st. Come down at noon for amazing slate of free family fun. There's bouncy castles, face painting, crafts, there's basketball, there's an obstacle course, there's everything that the whole family can enjoy.
Music in the Air is just a part of a big celebration. Food's going to be available as well, and people who come here and have been here for a while, we kind of understand the light situation in the middle of summer here. You got to wait for a little bit later to put those fireworks on, but that's why. You're going to be able to see them in the sky, bright and beautiful, and then on the following day, I also know that there's also the strongman competition happening.
Yeah, the strongman competition is so fun, and it's back again this year. They were with us last year for Canada Day, and it's just amazing the feats of strength that you can see these people do. It's wonderful. And they also have some really fun things for kids to participate, so it's definitely worth checking out.
Right, yeah. There's not just the wow factor of seeing them do it. I mean, kids get to get hands-on. Big kids, too, get to get hands-on and interactive.
Yeah,
with it.
Big kids and little kids. It's so fun.
Dorothy and Wags from the Wiggles are going to be showing up, too.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. Parents, you want to know about that because your kids absolutely already do.
Totally. It's so exciting. There's going to be, I think they're having 3 different performances on our Mix 103.7 and Cruise 100.5 Cruise FM main stage.
Yeah.
There's 3 shows from Dorothy and Wags, plus we have a magician going on, which is just so fun for the whole family.
Yeah, so plenty of chances to catch it. Come as you want on Canada Day. Of course, there's all the free entertainment the night before as well. Thank you so much for coming to tell us all about it. It's
Thank
going to be a
you
big
so
weekend.
much. It's going to be so fun. Everyone come on down.
Wednesday.
The big question this Wednesday, what is the worst mistake you've made at work? Oops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That you can tell us about legally, of course. If there's anything privileged information, hey, that's okay. Keep it to yourself. Or we'll change the names or something. Or, what if it was somebody else that did it in this story, in this version, and you just witnessed it? No. I could tell a story. It was very early on in my radio career, and we were going to do a out of the studio broadcast, but not very far out of the studio. In fact, far enough that we could just string some cables out the doors and, be able to get out into the street, that kind of thing. And while that was being set up by the engineer and the general manager at the time, they managed to turn off the radio feed for long enough that the backup audio had come in, some backup music is playing, and then over top of that, they're trying to figure things out with a live microphone, muttering some stuff under their breath you don't want to put on the radio. It was nightmarish. And I was none the wiser coming back into the studio being like, I think we just got a call, guys. We got a call. Not a great look, right? Jessica got in touch, said when she was around 16, she worked at Tim Hortons, would have to clean the coffee pots, sanitize them, rinse them. One day, forgot to rinse the sanitizer off. A couple people coming back complaining, doesn't taste very good. Oops, let's get you a fresh one, shall we? Oops, Jessica, that's okay. It's okay. Mistakes can happen. We got some music news headlines for you. Of course, Glastonbury Festival in the UK, gigantic gathering of people for a large number of musical acts, and a large number of those acts have been seeing huge increases to their streaming figures after their performances. Of course, that's a natural thing that would happen after any given performance with those songs available, but a huge spike, like an usual amount of increase for figures like Elton John and Rick Astley. So much music being streamed. Guns N' Roses in there as well, as I think a lot of people, younger people, rediscovering or discovering for the first time some music of old. We've got Bill Clinton in music news once again, because not playing saxophone somewhere, but because he jumped on a podcast, the Questlove Supreme podcast, to talk about jazz legends and the music. And in fact, included in a preview of the episode released today was a moment where Bill Clinton revealed that Ray Charles was calling him soon before he died. In fact, Bill believes that he might be one of the last people that Ray Charles did call before he passed away, and having to talk about the legacy and impact thereafter. That's available, as I think already, if not later today, the Questlove Supreme podcast all over the internet.
Hey Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
Big rebate coming. It's not like coming in the mail. It's actually going to be going directly into your bank account with your GST, HST, credit, or what have you in July 5th. That is, assuming that you don't owe some money on taxes or something like that, right? But a rebate coming from the federal government for groceries specifically. Yeah, hits July 5th. Slap a Band-Aid on it is what it seems like. Meanwhile, the price of groceries just goes up and up and up. Just last night, placing a pickup order online. My partner was driving at the laptop. She let me know, hey, okay, we're ready to start. Got my focus back. But I came beside her that saw the total was already at $49. That's the starting point. I'm like, what just happened? What? I asked her what was already added. Cat litter, toothpaste, and milk. That's it. That was all that was on there. Up to $49. So, thank you for the rebate. I will take it. I will absolutely take it. But it's already losing effectiveness to be able to actually buy groceries with. So, we ask collectively, what next? Just reading about the world's biggest cruise ship complete and ready to sail next year. The Icon of the Seas, it's being called. I would have liked a pun name, like a dad joke name, but still, it can hold nearly 10,000 people, including passengers and crew, because when you want to float out to the middle of nowhere, you really want to bring thousands of people with you when you do it. It does look great. It's bright, it's shiny, it's fancy. 6 friggin' water slides on this thing. Not joking. I wonder how many ice cream bars there are. Jimmy Buffett has been kidnapped and will be held indefinitely with nightly shows at 7 on the Lido deck, as long as they remain in international waters. Kidding. Still, it looks big. It's wild. Big news coming. It is still a weird week for frivolous ocean news, though. I mean, that has to be said.
Thursday.
Powerful hunger hits you first thing in the morning. It's summertime, I don't know. Appetite goes up, and it's for specific things, right? Want to get out there and have something that was cooked al fresco, something that was made up in the open air. Barbecue comes to mind, of course. Now there is a Michelin star chef out there saying that barbecue grilling is a horrible way to cook burgers. Don't do it, he says. Promises that the griddle or a pan is the pinnacle of flavor every time, and that most of the juices are lost to the bottom of a barbecue. Fair point. I mean, that might be, technically true. Molecular gastronomically true, but still, there's just something about a barbecue, isn't there? He does go on to say that the grill works great for other things, like chicken, pork, veggies, etc., right? He's not knocking the process, just says it doesn't work for a burger specifically, never the burger. But you know what? Besides the point of all that, truly the best flame-cooked summer food is, though, in my opinion, Smokies on a stick over a campfire. I don't know. You just can't beat it. Followed up with like a s'mores chaser. That's the way to get it done. Fall Out Boy has released a new update to We Didn't Start the Fire with, of course, Billy Joel's formula for the song intact, but a different sound to it, and updating everything that's happened since 1989. The last 35 years or so, all wrapped up into 3.5 minutes. Here's just a taste.
Michael Jackson dies, nuclear accident, Fukushima, Japan, Crimean Peninsula, Cambridge Analytica, Kim Jong-un, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man.
Yeah, this is an idea that's, happened a few times. People on the internet have kind of thrown theirs into the ring. This is perhaps the biggest and highest profile new version of We Didn't Start the Fire that's happened, but is it the best? People are saying Dwight Schrute had the best back when The Office was on. I gotta say, no, this year, the ultimate is actually the parody from the Clone High reboot.
1, 2, 3, 4. Pokeballs, fire fest. Kim Kardashian was a West. Gaga wore a beat dress. Most beaches now beatless. Janet Jackson nipple slip. Rap rock is no longer hip. Marvel movies, Taylor Swift. Bill Cosby, Google it. Bible trends, K-pop bands. Lost finale, upset friends. Snap, meta, Insta post. Pics about the counters. Podcast with no NFTs. Only reboots on TV. Keto diet, Beyonce. Billionaires went to space. Everyone is filled with hate. Now you're all caught up to date.
Yeah, see, that one works better for me.
Thanks for listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruise FM.
Madonna having to postpone the entirety of the celebration tour that she had aimed to start a little bit later on this year. July 15th, Vancouver, BC would have been the very first start. The 40th anniversary tour was stopped because her health caused her to be under intensive medical care. Now, the statement is saying that her health is improving. She is still under medical care, however, and it is a postponement of the tour. She still has full intentions to embark once she is able to do so and is cleared medically. Meanwhile, Roseanne in music news somehow, because of paving the way, in her own opinion, for Lizzo, the plus-sized, multi-talented artist who is also a incredible flute player, flautist, now basically citing back to a Vanity Fair cover from 1994 shot by Annie Leibovitz, saying that she paved the way with this homage to Botero, and a plus-sized woman on the cover of a magazine is why Lizzo is able to claim such success. Of course, Roseanne also just last week said on a podcast that nobody died in the Holocaust, so I think take pretty much everything that she says with a never mind, not going to listen to her anymore. The last day of school, I think, right? I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you haven't already been given your freedom, kids, I think that today is the very last day of school for those who weren't already, sent on their way. School's out for summer. And honestly, what a feeling. There's not much like it. I miss that feeling. The nostalgia's strong. Not so much for the parents this time of year, no, but for the kids, that first day with no school and no plans, just a beautiful thing, right? Sometimes ruined a little by instant chores being levied down, or a summer job or something like that, or even, in some cases, it's just some friend talking about being excited to go back to school in the fall. Way too early.
Gee, I can't wait till I go to high school.
Don't you say that. Don't you ever say that. Stay here. Stay as long as you can. For the love of God, cherish it.
Friday
ahead of a long weekend, feeling pretty good. And you might be choosing to get out in nature, but maybe not. Maybe it's more just regular old long weekend and you want to get out maybe to the movies with Indiana Jones brand new. It's out officially today. Have not seen it yet. Can't give you the spoiler-free Steve review, but, I will be giving the movie a shot, that's for sure. I've adored these movies my entire life, and I even gave The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones a shot. It's really bad. And even with the heat that the Crystal Skull gets in the number 4 installment, it's still a ride. I'll give you that. A little bit hard to take with the Polish accent that Cate Blanchett is trying to give us. But still, what really shook me about the ending of number 4 was that, and this is a spoiler alert, it came out at the same time as the second X-Files movie. And that summer, Indiana Jones had aliens, but X-Files didn't. I can't say I was expecting that. Time for some music news headlines. We were talking about Madonna and the giant 40th anniversary tour that she was going to be starting off in the near future, in mid-July, but it has had to be postponed, the entirety of it postponed, due to a hospital visit. She has been discharged now from hospital and has been listed as in the clear, reportedly at home, recovering from a serious bacterial infection that saw her in the intensive care unit just this week. It was private ambulance situation to her home in New York and everything. She's 64 years old, but again, listed as in the clear now, which is very great news. Can take some rest and then revisit the schedule for that tour. Paul McCartney, speaking of live music performances, blames Bruce Springsteen for gigs being long. He says that it used to be much, much smaller. The 81-year-old was on Conan O'Brien's Need a Friend podcast saying that Springsteen is to blame. The boss is the reason that there are such long sets of, 3, 4, 5 hours even. Back in the 60s, he said the Beatles used to perform for 30 minutes, and there was no issue with any fans. Super happy to see them, and they got paid for it too. But I think the fans do win out with a longer set, as long as it's not too taxing on anybody, including the people that just want to get to bed by like 11 o'clock, please. A lot of people do live their life out loud, living it in the fast lane, apparently. According to a poll, and take it all with grains of salt, 1 in 3 people, about a third of us, claim that they have done it at a music festival. Whoa, okay. My immediate question is where? As in privacy, not body part. Don't make it weird. But the number one answer that people seem to be coming up with, that it was my fear, the horror, the abject horror, the porta potties. There's no way. I'm sorry. There's no way. You couldn't get me excited enough. It's just immediately as soon as you get into that smell radius. I'm sorry. It's just the way it's going to happen. But there's other options, I guess. Some people say, I don't know, maybe making a blanket happen. There's some festivals you actually tent at. That makes sense. Okay. That's like totally private, except for the sounds. But there was people who were answering, though, that they'll try to do this just about any time they're at a music festival, and you want to choose one near a wooded area, saying almost no one goes into the woods. You can still kind of hear the music, and it's actually super romantic. Except for all the bug bites, of course.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruise FM.